guest today is one of the busiest and most accomplished musicians around. He's in a number of bands, including Transatlantic, Flying Colors, and of course his own Neal Morse band. I'm talking about Neal Morse, who we are happy to welcome to the show for a third time. Hi Neal, how are you?
Hey Roy, I'm fine, how are you?
Doing okay. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, what's happening, man?
I think it's been about 6 months. You were releasing the Grand Experiment. You haven't released anything in 6 months. You must be going crazy.
Well, I've been doing a lot of work on the, future things. It was amazing how much work the Morsefest thing was, for example.
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because that's the big thing coming up.
Yeah, well, there's two different things to discuss. One would be the Morsefest 2015 live concerts, and then the DVD Blu-ray audio package for 2014, which is coming out right before it.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's backtrack then. What's on the DVD and Blu-ray, and what can people expect with that?
Well, it's the whole Testimony album, and I think of course it's all subjective, but I think it's much better quality than the one that was released when we made the album in I think 2003. It's Blu-ray, and so the filming is in some ways higher quality, yeah. And a behind-the-scenes documentary of all the events that went on with it. It was a whole weekend, a very special time. This is the closest thing you could get to actually being there. We did Name That Tune with the fans. We had a worship service and an Inner Circle concert, and two VIP meet and greets. So all that's documented on there. A whole week of rehearsals and lots of funny antics that go along with all of that. Mike finding like the biggest cockroach he's ever seen in his life in the bathroom, and funny thing with his wireless mic on. So he's talking about it like over the mic. He's in the bathroom going, "Oh my God, this is the hugest bug I've ever seen in my life," and we're all listening to it like over the PA. It was funny.
That's fantastic. That's like from a comedy or something. That's great.
Yeah, and then of course the concert footage is really special. It's the Testimony album plus encores from Testimony 2 and other things. Some songs from Spock's Beard, and let's see, there's a little bit of Transatlantic in there somewhere. We did Stranger in Your Soul, and also at the Inner Circle concert we did We All Need Some Light. And then the next night is the entire One album, which has never been performed live ever, with the extra tracks that I had written for it that were left off the album proper and put on the bonus disc. So it was more like how I originally wrote it. And also then the encore with my brother Alan on The Light. Al flew out and he was a special guest, and it's a really special performance of The Light, and then Stranger in Your Soul for an encore on that night.
Wow, that sounds amazing. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it was amazing. Not just that, but we're doing it up. It's like we're doing it up right. We did it with string players, 4 horn players, 6 background singers, Rick Altizer on percussion and vocals, Eric Darkin, one of the premier percussionists in the world, on percussion, full percussion with chimes and timpani, and it was really just a full-blown of a production as I've ever done. It's with more of a production easily than anything I've ever done before.
Wow, that's exciting. So now you have the next Morsefest coming up, which is September 4th and the 5th, again near Nashville, where you are. And you're doing 2 different albums, the Question Mark album and Sola Scriptura, which is my personal favorite. I am coming to this one because I'm mad at myself that I missed the last one, so I wasn't going to let that happen again.
Right.
Is it sort of a similar thing, or did you find maybe there was some stuff that didn't work, you want to change up, some new events, other stuff going on?
Yeah, well, we're going to do some different things. The worship service, for example, is going to be our Sunday service, because that Saturday just about killed me. A 10 o'clock worship service, and then a 1 o'clock Inner Circle concert, then a 3 o'clock VIP, and And then I helped tear down the whole thing. I was there till 5 in the morning.
My goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that's different. We're going to be playing different games with the fans. Of course, we're doing different albums, so the instrumentation will be slightly different. We are going to have a choir this time.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll be doing Sola Scriptura with choir. Yeah, it's really going to be off the chart again. We're trying to raise the bar. This time it looks like we're going to have some really cool graphics going on screens over our heads, and even more production than last time.
Is one album more challenging than the other to play from beginning to end with these two? Or you don't know that yet, I guess, maybe not having done it?
Well, I have done it, almost. I think when the Sola Scriptura album came out, we did almost the whole thing in Europe with the European band.
That's right, yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think any of them are really. They're all challenging in their own ways. I wouldn't say that one is necessarily more difficult than the other. It's just getting it all in your hands and in your mouth and in your heart, you know.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of the videos online on the
What's We Secret?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I forgot the name. I've seen a lot of videos on that. A couple where you're wearing Prog Report shirts, which is cool. So thank you for that. That's always neat. And it looks like there's a lot that goes into the planning of these performances you're doing. You're, prepping the horn sections for things and all that kind of stuff. So how much time do you spend doing that now before you actually get to the weekend?
Well, I mean, I didn't mean to spend that much time. It just kind of got away from me. What happened was that the first one, the horn players and the singers said, hey, we'd love it. We're really into it. If you want to give us more stuff, there's a lot more stuff we could do if you want to give it to us. And so I kind of, with that in mind, I gave the horn players and the singers a lot more stuff. So there'll be horn parts and background vocal parts that weren't on the original record.
Very cool.
So it took me about 2 weeks.
When you chose these two albums, was it like they were the next two in sort of your recordings that you had done, or some other reason?
It seemed to make sense. They were the next two, and we just kicked it around and thought, yeah, that'd be good. And I think the fans are excited about it, so that's what it's all about.
Look, I think it's fantastic that you have this sort of venue to have people come to you and spend the whole weekend. It's nothing like anybody has done for their fans and anybody that likes the music. This is something amazing, really. Yeah,
I felt like it was. It was amazing for me. Really a special thing for all of us, and especially for me personally. It's like, wow. You get to do these albums and do them up right, because there's something different about it, doing it close to your home, where you can get a lot of people to help and volunteer that you could never afford to take everybody on tour. I couldn't afford to take 25 people on tour.
Yeah.
I'm not Taylor Swift,
Right, absolutely.
So, but I can do it at home a lot, mainly because people are so kind and will help me and work fairly cheaply, and a lot of people just volunteer their time because they just love it, and it's really such a blessing.
There's another DVD coming out, I guess maybe towards the end of the year, if I read correctly, which is the Flying Colors tour. Is that coming out soon?
Yeah, I think that's coming out in November, is what they said. Yeah.
Awesome. Speaking of Flying Colors, you were nominated for another Album of the Year and Band of the Year award for the Prog Music Awards.
Yes.
I was surprised that Grand Experiment wasn't nominated. I mean, did that surprise you, or do you even pay attention to that kind of stuff?
My first thought was like, oh, well, Grand Experiment didn't come out till, February of this year?
Right.
So I'm hoping maybe they'll give it consideration at the next one. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Who knows how that stuff works?
It's nice, it's especially nice for the band. I think the band was kind of disappointed that it wasn't acknowledged, and hopefully it will be. I think it's a very outstanding record.
Well, yeah, you were on a roll. You did. I mean, the last 4 albums going back to Songs from November, and then was Transatlantic, and then Flying Colors, and then The Grand Experiment. So you had 4 in a row there that really were all pretty stellar.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
What's coming up next? What are you working on after Morsefest and for next year and all that?
Well, right now I'm working on something I think it's kind of a secret. I don't really want to. I can't really say.
Ah, okay.
Yet. It's one of those things. Sometimes that happens where you don't feel like you're really at liberty to talk about something, because sometimes you're experimenting around with things and you don't want to say anything until it looks like it's really going to come to fruition. So so I'm working on that. I'm also working on a new worship record that I'm sure I will put out before the end of the year. I wanted to have it out before Morsefest so people would know some of the songs and maybe I could do them, at some of the smaller events. But I just got too busy with everything that's going on between Morsefest 2014 and Morsefest 2015. It took up about a month, and so I'm a little behind on that. But there'll be a new worship album before the end of the year, and beyond that, I'm not sure.
We've been doing these little pieces on the site where we've asked some artists what was the song that changed their life. So I hate to put you on the spot, but I wondered maybe if you had a thought on that for yourself.
Oh, well, I had a lot of songs changed in my life. I've been shaped by music all along. I guess if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Heart of the Sunrise in reverence to our dear departed Cliff Squire.
That's right. Yeah, that was a terrible news this past week. Absolutely.
Yeah. But Heart of the Sunrise was a big, big life changer for me.
Did you get to see them live with the first incarnation of the band and?
Yeah, well, I saw them twice back then. I saw them open for Black Sabbath I think when Fragile had just come out, and that was my moment. That was my big whoa. Yeah. I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know that you could have classical music, side by side like that with pop and rock music and everything else. Yeah, and then the next year I saw them on the Close to the Edge tour, and that was right after Bruford. So I got to see them with Bruford the very first time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then then Alan White was with them the next time, and we were all like, "What happened to the drummer? Who's that guy?" Yeah, and then I got to see him this last summer at the Ryman here in Nashville, with the new singer and everything. And so I'm really glad that I got to see that, because especially with the passing of Mr. Squire.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw them on this last tour as well. They were actually great. It was a really good show.
Yeah. Right.
Last question, and most importantly, is what's the weather like in Nashville in September for when we're coming?
Well, Nashville's a funny place weather-wise. You kind of got to be ready for anything at almost any time. But September should be nice. Should be lovely. I would, bring a light jacket in case. It rains quite a bit here.
Okay.
At all times of the year. That's why it's so green. Bring a jacket. Bring some shorts. Bring some, a mix of things.
There you go. Packing advice from Neal Morse. You can't get better than that. Are there still tickets available for Morsefest, I'm assuming, or any of the VIP packages? Yes,
they're available at radiantrecords.com. Some of the VIP sessions have sold out, I heard. But, there's still tickets left for the event, and there still are some VIP tickets left also. Okay.
Great. So that's on radiantrecords.com. And we will see you there, Mr. Neal Morse. Thank you very much, as always.
All right. Thank you, Roy.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, man. Bye.
We're going to close with a track off of The Grand Experiment. This is the track Waterfall. For more information and upcoming interviews, please check with theprogreport.com. Follow us on Facebook, at The Prog Report on Twitter, and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Thanks.
Wake up wondering where you are in time. I find no better place to go. Somewhere wandering there I see the one, and I run, I run, I run. Here by the waterfall, sweep my troubles all downstream. There at the riverside, every tear I've cried washed clean. Please take my sorrow far from me. Rust never makes a sound. It creeps until your heart is black and blind. My mind never knows how to rest. If I could have some peace under the sun, I'd run, I'd run, I'd run. Here by the waterfall, sweep my troubles all downstream. There at the riverside, every tear I've cried washed clean. And I'll forever know, I'll forever know I'm free. Here by the waterfall, sweep my troubles